Have you ever really stopped to ask yourself, who am I? I mean, really? It's probably one of the biggest questions we ever ask. Well, today we're going to dive into a tradition that doesn't just ponder that question, it gives you a practical roadmap to find an answer. We're taking a journey right into the heart of Korean philosophy. You know, the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche just hit the nail on the head with this one. We can know so much about the world, but when it comes to ourselves, we're often a total mystery. And the search for who we are, it's not unique to one place or time. It's a fundamental part of being human. So, okay, if we're strangers to ourselves, how do we even begin to make an introduction? That's the real challenge, right? And this is where Korean philosophy steps in with a really fascinating set of tools. And we're not talking about abstract debates here. We're talking about tools for life. So let's see how they work. Our journey really starts by getting a handle on what philosophy even means in a Korean context. And let me tell you, it's less about what you know and a whole lot more about who you're becoming. The word for philosophy in Korean is chorhak, but this isn't a passive academic term. It's not the study of wisdom. It's the study of how to become wise. That one little word, become, it changes everything, doesn't it? It transforms philosophy from a subject you read about in a book into a personal project, your own project. So what does this project look like? Well, these are the basic principles. First off, it's practical. It's about your actual daily life, not some theory up in the clouds. And the responsibility? It's all on you. Now, it's not that it denies a spiritual world, but the focus is squarely on what we can do right here, right now. And the number one tool for making change? Your own mind. The idea is, if you can take charge of your mind, you can take charge of your life. But you're not doing this in a vacuum. It's all about how you live with other people. That's the real goal. To really truly get this intense focus on the mind, there's no better way than a story. And this is a story so famous in Korea, they have a saying that even the dogs in the street know it. It's the story of a monk named Wånhyo, and it absolutely nails the core idea of the whole tradition. Okay, so picture this. Two monks, Wånhyo and his buddy Usang, are on this epic journey to China to study with the great Buddhist masters. It's a tough trip, and one night a massive storm hits. They scramble for cover and find what looks like a small cave to wait it out. In the middle of the night, it's pitch black. Wånhyo wakes up and he is just incredibly thirsty. He's fumbling around in the dark and his hands find this smooth vessel. He scoops up some rainwater in it and takes a huge drink. Oh, the water is cool, it's refreshing, and he feels so much better. And he drifts back into a deep, peaceful sleep. But then, the sun comes up. And as light floods into their shelter, Wånhyo sees the truth. And it is horrifying. They weren't in a cave at all. They were in an ancient tomb, literally surrounded by skeletons. And that refreshing, life-giving vessel he drank from? It was a grimy, decaying human skull. Now just think about that for a second. At night, in the darkness, the object was a useful bowl. It saved him. In the daylight, it was a disgusting skull that made him sick to his stomach. But the object itself, did it change? Nope, not one bit. The only thing that changed was Wånhyo's perception of it. And right there, in that moment, boom, Wånhyo becomes enlightened. He gets it. He realized that our minds don't just see reality, they create it. The world isn't just out there, we interpret it. And in that interpretation, we shape our own experience. We literally become what we think. This insight hit him so hard that he turned right around. He canceled his trip to China. He realized he didn't need to go searching for the truth in some faraway land. It was right there, inside his own head. And here's the big takeaway for all of us. If you want to change your life, you have to change your mental habits. And that doesn't happen overnight. It takes daily, consistent practice. This one idea becomes the golden thread that runs through everything else we're going to talk about. Now, this massive breakthrough about the power of the mind didn't just stop with Wånhyo. A few centuries later, another incredible monk named Chinul comes along, and he essentially takes Wånhyo's lightning in a bottle insight and builds a system around it, a clear path that anyone could follow. So, Chinul's path has two main steps. Step 1 is the sudden awakening. That's your Wånhyo in the skull moment. It's that flash of insight where you see what your mind is truly capable of. But, and this is so important, that's not the end. It's just the beginning. That's followed by Step 2, gradual cultivation. This is the lifelong work, the daily practice, the meditation, whatever it takes to polish the mind and make sure you don't just slide back into your old ways of thinking. This whole system is built on a really cool concept called essence function. Here's the idea. The essence of your mind, its factory setting, is pure potential for goodness. It's your Buddha nature. But that's just potential. The function is how you actually bring that potential into the real world through your actions. So that daily practice we keep talking about, it's the bridge. It connects the amazing person you could be with the person you actually are day to day.
All right, so up to now, we've been hanging out with Buddhist monks, but this is where our story takes a really fascinating turn. These ideas about mind cultivation didn't stay locked away in the monastery. During Korea's Choson dynasty, which lasted for centuries, these concepts were picked up and remixed by a totally new group, Neo-Confucian scholars. And they applied them to the messy, real-world problems of society and politics.
For these scholars, the goal wasn't just about finding personal peace of mind. It was about creating a stable, harmonious society. And their blueprint was built around these 5 cardinal relationships. The thinking was, if everyone worked on themselves to be virtuous within their specific role, if you were the best possible father, the most righteous minister, the most faithful friend, then society as a whole would just work. Cultivating your mind was no longer just a personal project, it was your social duty. And the absolute giant in this movement, the guy who put it all together, was the scholar Wånhyo. He was the great synthesizer. He took these deep ideas about moral psychology and self-cultivation from the Buddhists and applied them directly to the Confucian social world. He basically created a practical guide to becoming a sage while living in the world, not hiding away from it. And this brings us to a really fundamental belief that runs through the whole tradition, from the monks to the scholars. It's this deeply hopeful, optimistic view of human nature. The core idea is that humans are born fundamentally good. We all have this innate Buddha nature, or a good original mind. Our job isn't to fix something that's broken inside us, but to polish a gem that's already there. Just think for a second how different that is from the Western doctrine of original sin, which says we start out flawed and in need of saving. So how does a Confucian scholar practice this stuff? Wånhyo's key concept was kyang. You could translate it as mindfulness or seriousness. Really, it's the constant, serious effort to be in control of your mind, not just when you're meditating, but in every single interaction. At home, at work, with your friends. It's basically Buddhist meditation redesigned for the purpose of being a good person out in the world. So what does this whole journey, from a monk in a tomb to a scholar in his study, really offer us today? Well, it offers a kind of profound consolation, a practical philosophy for how to live a good life. The central message, the one that echoes across the centuries, is that there are no shortcuts. Wånhyo's big awakening was just the starting line. The real path to wisdom, to having a well-balanced mind, is a lifelong practice. It's about the small, daily, consistent work of building and keeping good mental habits. And this really is the ultimate gift of Korean philosophy. It's an incredibly empowering message. We can't always control the crazy things that happen to us in the world, but what this tradition tells us is that through practice, we can control how we respond. And if you are in control of your own mind, you are ultimately in control of your own life. This whole tradition isn't just something to think about. It's a call to action. So the question it leaves us with is a really personal one. Thinking about this whole journey, what's one daily practice, even a small one, that you could start, maybe even today, to cultivate your own mind?